Make sure that
Hello, everyone.
yes, sir. I'm gonna make sure I share it online. Okay, boom. Here we go. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an amazing guest with us, one who I'm very humbled and honored would take time out of his busy schedule to come give us some information as well as some inspiration, and that is none other than the amazing Tailor and just amazing brother and businessman, brother Ron Welch Muhammad. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. How are you, brother Joshua Muhammad? Can you hear
Man,
me?
I'm doing fine by the grace of Allah, sir. Okay, bro.
Good,
Yes, sir. I can hear you good, sir.
good, good. I want to go
Okay, yes,
live.
sir. Well, right now I'm letting everybody tune in because. Go ahead, sir.
How, how's your family? How's your family, brother?
Man, my family's doing amazing by
Good,
the grace of God, sir. How was yours?
good. Everyone is fine. We're working hard trying to make our word our bond. Uh, Living in North America, you know.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. Well, I wanted to. The first question that I want to know is how how did you get into the tailor business? Yeah, how did you get into your business, sir?
Well, first of all, I want to first thank Almighty God, Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad for giving me my life on this earth. I thank Allah for my mother who gave me birth, and I thank Allah for my teachers who taught me my trade and gave me a skill. So on that note, I started first. I was born in Philadelphia. It's an honor just to be living in this city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. So I started in 1976 in high school. I took up tailoring in high school, and
Mm.
I learned the tailoring trade from the 10th grade to the 12th grade, and uh, I stayed with that, and I knew I wasn't going to college, and I stayed with that, and I had a great teacher by the name of Christopher Ramsey, and the high school I went to was called Thomas A. Edison High School in Philadelphia, which was a block away from my home. And I started in high school, and I took up that trade, and I graduated from high school, and I went into the industry. From high school, I worked in several factories during the 80s and the 90s. And, uh, and at that time, the NAFTA industry, the NAFTA North America Free Trade Agreement was in effect, and jobs were losing. But I kept going because that was the only skill I knew. I wasn't a bricklayer, I wasn't a carpenter, and I wasn't a mathematician. So I stuck with the tailoring, and I thank God for my mother who believed in me, because when I was about to graduate from high school, I gave her a proposal. I said, Mom, if you buy me a sewing machine, an industrial sewing machine, because that's where I learned from. I said, if you buy me a sewing machine, Mom, you
Yes,
wouldn't
sir.
have to make, you wouldn't have to purchase, you wouldn't have to buy me no more clothing. I will make all my clothing myself. And she said, if that's the case, son, well, we're going to
Mm.
get you a sewing machine. And sure enough, she bought me a sewing machine. And I have a picture of that, of me in my mother's basement. I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see a picture of me in my mother's basement uh, back in the 70s, where I was sewing and practicing my skill uh, in my mother's basement. So that's how I started. And I thank God for allowing me to learn this trade, which is a beautiful and respectful trade to have, to be a tailor, to make a garment, to design and construct a garment for the human form, for to dress and make something for people is a divine thing, is a special thing, is very a personal thing for the person who received the garment. So I'm just honored to just to have that trade. Yes, sir. That was my little beginning of learning, but I thank God for my teacher,
Praise
Christopher
be to
Ramsey,
Allah. Excellent.
and my mother. Yeah, yes, sir.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Well, how did you first hear about the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, believe it or not, I had a friend. His name was Avery Besselu, and I was at his home. I was still in high school, and we were having a couple of cocktails and smoking some marijuana. I should say. And he said to me, as we was getting high, he says to me, "Ron, have you ever heard of Farrakhan?" I said, I saw the posters. I have seen the posters of the minister throughout the city in his beautiful white uniform, posing like he was speaking. I saw this poster throughout the city, Farrakhan, and I saw him, but I never heard his voice. So, and at that time, when I was hanging out with my friend Avery Besselu as a young man, he put on a tape of the minister, and the minister was teaching at Cheney University. And the tape started with the minister making the call to the prayer, calling the prayer, the Adhan, and he was making the prayer. And I'm like, in the middle of puffing, I'm hearing the minister, right? And I hear the minister made the call, and I just stopped, like, who is this? And then he said, that's the minister, that's Farrakhan. And man, from that day, I was listening to, this is like 78, 79. I'm listening to the minister for the first time. And I was really captivated by his voice. I was captivated by his delivery and the choice of words that he spoke. And I was really impressed, and I wanted to learn more. My mind at that moment was like thirsty and hungry for more of what he had to say. And at that moment, after I heard the tape, I asked my friend Avery, "Can I hold that tape?" And I took that tape home of the minister giving that lecture at Cheney University, and I played that tape over and over and over and over again. In fact, I used to go to sleep at the speaker on the floor in my mother in my bedroom. So I had one of those little laid out bedroom with my speakers. I had a high tech turntable and tape machines, and I played the minister over and over again. And I was just captivated. I just wanted to hear more about what he had to say. And then weeks gone by, I think, weeks gone by. And on the radio, I heard that the minister was coming to Philadelphia. It was announced on the radio that Minister Farrakhan is coming to Philadelphia. It was like, it was a short notice, like 2 days later, 2 days before he was coming. And again, I never saw him in person. All I heard his voice. I saw a picture of him on posters, but I never saw him in person. But when they made the announcement that he was coming to Philadelphia, I went to the mosque at that time, which was at Broad and Cecil B. Moore, or Broad and Cumberland. And mosque number 12 had a little space over top of this storefront. And when I got there, it was nobody there, no FOI. I was the first at the building. And I'm like, I'm at the right place? And I stood in front of that place. I think I was an hour early before the event started, and no FOI. And then They opened the door, a couple FOI came, they got the place ready. And I was the first one inside, the first one to be searched. And then they gave me the front row seat. Front row seat. I couldn't wait to see this man, Farrakhan. And I'm at the front row seat, right in front of the rostrum, seat number 1. And then they seated next to me at that time, Kenny Gamble from Philly International Records. And Kenny had a friend with him. And I didn't know who Kenny Gamble was at that time either. And so I'm sitting next to Kenny Gamble, and then the place got filled up. And then they said, brothers and sisters, we'd like to introduce you to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the minister was coming down the middle of the aisle. And I turned to see this man come down the aisle. And he came down the aisle so beautiful. He had a beat up brown leather suitcase. He had a beat up leather brown suitcase, and he walked down that aisle so gently, and he took the rostrum, and I looked up at this man, and I looked at him. He reminded me of my father, because my father is a light-skinned man like the minister. My father is tall and light-skinned and has the complexion like the minister has. But my father, the only difference was my father had a mustache. And my father, as I grew up, wasn't around. My father he used to come and go. But when I saw the minister, it reminded me of my father. And when the minister started, I was just captivated. And the minister taught so hard that day. And then after he taught, of course, he asked those who believe in what you heard is good for Black people. And I said, yeah, I stood up that day and bought all the books. I bought the Message to the Black Man. I bought all the books, you know, the Holy Quran, the Fall of America. I bought all the books that day. I went broke, you know, and I bought all the books. I shook the minister's hand. I went home and I started reading. I bought some more tapes. I just fell in love with him at first sight. And, you know, at that time, my sewing skills was not up to par. No one was buying round Welch suits. No one was wearing my suits but myself. I was only making suits for myself. And I didn't think I was at that level to dress him, because like, he's the minister. I mean, I wasn't comfortable trying to make suits for other people. I was just making suits for myself. I liked making suits for myself at that time. And I just enjoyed meeting him. And that was the first time I met the minister. But then the second time I met the minister, that he came like a year after that or two. In fact, when Jesse Jackson was running for president, and I became active in Mosque number 12, and Jesse Jackson was running for president, and the minister was preaching or teaching at Zion Baptist Church in Philadelphia. And the minister taught hard that day. And again, I was early at that meeting too, you know. I wasn't quite a full active FOI, but I was going in and out of the mosque and I was reading. And so the minister was teaching at Zion Baptist Church. And he taught hard. Brother Akbar Muhammad he introduced the minister, and after the minister taught, Brother Akbar asked the people that was there, is there anyone who believed that what he taught is good? We'd like to come on up and meet Minister Farrakhan. Of course, I'm in front row seat. I runs up and shakes the minister's hand. He looked at my face and said, brother, what did you think I said? How did I do? What did I say? How do you think what I came across, the way he was asking me, like, he wanted my honest opinion. And I said, brother minister, you did very well. You did good, sir. You did good, sir. And that day, it was raining after the lecture, and I lived approximately 10 blocks from Zion Baptist Church. I walked home in the rain from that meeting. I walked home in the rain, just praising, praising God, you know, calling on God. I was just so full of joy and happy to meet him again. And then I became a registered active believer in Miles number 12. And the brothers in Miles number 12 kind of looked up to me because I had on sharp suits every day. I couldn't wait to go to the mosque to show my new suits, the suit I made, you know what I mean? Even though the brothers wasn't buying, but I couldn't wait to get to the mosque to show them my suits and whatnot. I just enjoyed dressing, putting on a suit and being a soldier in the mosque. And then one of the brothers said to me, I think brother Captain at that time, brother Captain Clarence, he said, Brother Ryan, I'd like to make you a lieutenant. I wasn't even FO, I wasn't a registered believer yet. And then I got my registered, then I registered, became, and, you know, Brother Ron 2X. And then they wanted me to be a lieutenant. And I declined. I said, brother, that's not a good reason to make me a lieutenant because brothers look up to me or see me as a clean FOI. I said, no, I'd rather not. So I declined to be a lieutenant. I just wanted to be a regular soldier in the mosque. And I just loved being a soldier. And I was the first in my family to really believe that Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of God. And I was telling all the people in my neighborhood, man, did we read the message to the black man? I was going around the neighborhood. Did you read the message to the black man? You heard about Elijah Muhammad? Oh, brother Rob, we heard about that. We heard Rob. We heard about Elijah Muhammad. We heard about that. I'm like, you heard about it, but why y'all not, like, why y'all not like active in this? I was amazed because I was new to it. I'm like, y'all heard about it? I was talking to the older brothers in the neighborhood. Y'all heard about it? You've been out to mosque and you never told me about this teaching and I'm just hearing about it. And man, I just became an active, strong soldier. And I was very active. I loved drilling and I loved teaching, but the minister, his delivery of the word and the way he delivered the word with passion and love inspired me because when I was a youngster, I used to stutter. I was not a good talker. I was a shy man. I was a shy little boy. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't get a girlfriend until I was like 18, 19 years old. Everybody had girlfriends but me because I felt so insecure about myself, man. I felt so insecure. I used to stutter and man, I couldn't pronounce words right. But the minister, after hearing him, he gave me an example how to talk, man, how to speak. And that's why I am so honored and indebted to him and thank Allah for him for being an example to me. And just being an example for me. And he showed me. And now you see this brother Ron, you like, Brother Ron, you look so sharp, you look so confident, you do this and that. I said, because I had a good example. A good example. And that's why I thank Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad for giving us Farrakhan. Because the minister is the best helper for us to see how we should be as men, how we should treat our woman, how we should treat our family, and how to best serve us, how to serve our own community. And so as a businessman today, I learned to serve our people. I learned how to deliver. I have been given a talent, but I like seeing people looking good. And I remember one time I delivered a suit. The minister, he beat me up one time verbally because I was giving him some suits for free. And I said, Brother Minister, here's a suit. And he said, Brother Ron, how much is the suit? I said, no, Brother Minister, that's my gift to you, right? He said, Brother Ron, how long can you stay in business giving away free suits, brother? He said, brother, how much is the suit? And of course, I had to come up with the number. And I have always stayed on the number 7 with the minister. I said, brother minister, $700 for my suit. At that time, even though my suits were $1,200 and $1,500, I never went past $700 for the minister's suits. But I have always tried to give him suits, and he always beat me up. And I know one brother, somebody said, Brother Ryan, you charging the minister too much. I said, I try to give the minister some suits, but he wouldn't take it. He would always pay me for my suits, and I just thank him for that. But that's my little quick overview of coming into the nation and learning how to be a businessman. And what made me really come into the nation, it wasn't the religion. It was, number one, the love for this man, Farrakhan, who was delivering a message of upliftment and do for self. Do for self. And I wanted to do for self. I got laid off. I was looking for jobs. I mean, I had so many jobs, Brother Joshua. I got laid off so many times from jobs. Because, you know, it's hard for me to take orders from someone who don't know how to give me orders, you know? I remember I used to fight the captain of the mosque, because he used to say something to me in a really strong way, and I rebel because you can't talk to me any kind of way. And after coming into the knowledge of the teachings, and it tells us in the teachings, we fear nothing but Allah. We fear nothing but God. So I don't care of your title or your position. If you don't give me the delivery, if you don't give me the orders in the proper way, I'm not going to receive it. So I used to rebel against the captains and the lieutenants. If you give me an order the wrong way, brother, listen, give it to me in the right way so I can receive it. So that was my little beginning. And I thank Allah for that, because now I'm strong now for my ups and my downs and my struggles in business. Business is not easy. Business is hard. But believing that God is with you in your mission to be a business person, to serve your community, I feel like this is my mission. This is what I do. This is who I am. I was born to do what I do. So I feel like I will be successful if I keep the faith in the God who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and the messenger that he gave to us. So I'm just thankful for the teaching, because the teaching really shaped Brother Ron. I am shaped by the teachings. And the minister, I love saying his name, Farrakhan. Oh, what a name, right? Brother Joshua, what a name. The messenger gave the minister the proper name, Farrakhan. He only got one. So that's I just love to brag about that. I love to talk about that, even though a lot of people in my family and friends says, Ron, don't talk about, you dressing the minister, because that's not good for business. Well, in the beginning, I caught hell in the beginning. Right now, I'm used to it. I'm used to people denying to support me because I dress the minister. And I just keep moving, I'm blessed. I seek refuge in God, and he blessed me all the time. And especially, he shows it with my family. I pray for success for my family, and he blessed my family with success. I pray for success. He blessed me with success. I pray for creativity, and he gives me a creative mind to work out my problems. So I thank him. I thank God, and I thank the minister for being steadfast and not turning back on the hills of representing the messenger of God. So that was my little spiel. And you say, Brother Ryan, you sound like you used to teach. Well, I used to be a student minister under Minister Rodney Muhammad. So I gotta first tell you that I used to be a minister. In fact, I'm still a minister, but I just love teaching the teaching, because it's good for us, and it's good for our salvation to believe that we are from a righteous nation. And this is our time to show our talent and to put our faith on the line and work hard and work cheerfully to overcome all our obstacles. That's why the FOI says in the training, we are constantly training and conditioning ourselves to meet and overcome all obstacles. Well, here's the obstacle we have today,
That's
which
right.
is do for self and separate from our open enemy. So now it's time to go for self and do for self, pull out resources and go to work. So I'm on my post. I haven't quit my post, and I love what I do. And the minister told me years ago in 1997, when I asked him a question, I said, Brother Minister, who am I, this little black boy from Philadelphia, who am I to be your tailor, to dress you? Because I was blown away. Who am I to dress? In fact, the minister was my biggest client, my biggest client. And I'm jumping
Mm.
ahead. I know you got questions for me, but I'm just so excited to bear witness to the minister. So forgive me for just telling you more than what you're asking me. But thank God for the minister. And he said, Brother Ron, you know about dressing me, brother. You would dress the whole nation. Now, me dressing the whole nation, I couldn't fathom that in
Mm.
97. In
Mm.
97, I was barely thankful that I could dress him. But yeah, he
Yes, sir.
is my best customer. And in fact, the minister kept my business afloat by the suits that I made for him. I'm sorry for just talking long. That's the preacher in me, brother. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Go ahead, brother minister and priest there, brother Ryan. But Ryan, you have a lot of comments. My sisters are sending greetings. So many other people in the comments are saying Assalamu alaikum and sending you love.
Yes.
A lot of the
Walaikum
questions once I
salam.
posted your flyer, a lot of yes, sir. A lot of the questions once I posted your flyer, people wanted to know, of course, about you and your journey, but also what it's like to have a celebrity daughter. What is that like?
Well, brother, I prayed to with my daughter. Well, I met my daughter. She's actually my stepdaughter. When I was dating my
Mm,
now wife in the early '80s, and um, when I met Eve, she was 11 years old, and I
mm,
took her as my daughter since she was 11. I married my wife. I raised her. I took her to school. She was just she had a little tomboyish attitude, and I decided to just be a father to her, even though a lot of people in my family said, Ron, you don't want to marry that woman because she got a daughter already. She got a baby already. But I told my mother and
mm,
my brothers and my sister, only got one brother. I said, but my wife, Julie is a good listener. She's a good listener and she's beautiful. And at the time, I was an active FOI, and I know what an MDT should act like or see and be like. And at that time, my wife, even though she wasn't active, she was a MGT. She didn't eat no swine. She believed in
yes, sir.
God.
Yes, sir.
She don't cuss. She wears modest clothes. She's beautiful. She listened to me. She don't argue with me. She supported me. So I took her as my wife, and I took her daughter as my daughter, and I raised her since she was 11. And it was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle. It was hard to raise someone else's child, but I did what I had to
Mm,
do as a stepfather, and I thank God for that challenge. And I'm blessed to have now raised a successful music artist, actress, a spokesperson, a show host, who is known around the world. And I'm thankful that Allah kept her safe, kept her from harm and danger, and not getting caught up in the world with certain brothers who don't respect the woman. So I am thankful that God protected her
mm.
and guided her. Because I was always in my prayer. I've always kept my family in my prayer, and asking God to protect them and walk with them and talk to them and keep them from harm and danger. So God answered my prayers. Yeah, it's an honor to have a successful daughter like Eve. In fact, before she became Eve, she gave herself the name Mecca. She was calling herself Mecca before she became a rap
Mm.
artist. And I gave her a Quran before she started, before she started getting a little wild in the world. I gave her a Quran and she wrote in the Quran Mecca. She was calling herself Mecca. And her middle name is Jahan. So, uh,
Mm.
and I kept it now, so I thank Allah for that. I got great memories of raising Eve. In fact, before she became a rap artist, Charlie Mack, they was doing a celebrity basketball game in Philadelphia, and I was on post, so uh, I was FOI on post for the celebrity basketball game, and my stepdaughter at that time, was in the audience with my niece, and I took Eve out of the audience, and I actually took Eve out of the audience and took her backstage to meet Big Daddy Kane, Kool Moe Dee, and Will Smith. So she has pictures when she was about 12 years old with these celebrities at 12 years old. And it's so ironic now that when she grew up, she become a famous rap artist. And so it's a beautiful thing of raising or being a part of her life and her career. And I'm thankful for her success. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. How did you? Do you have any celebrity clients that you had good in that were good, have good relationships with you?
Oh, yes. By me dressing a minister, some words got out amongst, uh, uh, throughout North America, especially being written up in the final call about being the tailor for the minister. So I got a call from Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was one of my clients. So Eddie Murphy, I have a list. I should not, well, I think they wouldn't mind that, Eddie Murphy was one of my clients, Will Downing, Billy Paul, Kenny Gamble, which is, he's better known as Brother Luke Mon in Philadelphia. He was one of my clients, and many, many, many clients, a lot of athletes, in NFL, um, and also some celebrity, so I call them celebrity ministers, like Minister Jamil Muhammad and Minister Dr. Alim Muhammad uh, and a few others, and of course your father, at the time, Supreme Captain Sharif was one of my clients, and a few FOI and throughout the nation who was, stars in the nation. So yeah, I had celebrities, I'm thankful for the blessing and honor to dress certain people in that celebrity world.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And how can we promote and support your business, sir?
Well, in this day and time, I know money is tight. I don't ask for support. I just ask for some suggestions or some thoughts, some ideas. I tell people to visit my website, wardrobeclinic.com, and my direction of business today is fixing what's in your closet, because people today have big wardrobes, and we spend a lot of money on our wardrobes. And I know you're not wearing it like you used to wear it back in 2019 and whatnot before the pandemic. But now we're going to get through this time that we're living in. Eventually, we'll get back to wearing your wardrobe, getting back and wearing your suits and wearing those beautiful dresses and wearing those beautiful clothes that you have. So I have restructured my operation, not to make custom clothing, which I could do, but right now fix what's in your closet or help you maintain your closet, because we spent a lot of money on our wardrobe. We spent a lot of money. So I tell people, don't throw away your wardrobe. Eventually you'll get back to it. You'll be able to wear it again. So the Wardrobe Clinic is an alteration fixing service for those who are in need of wardrobe surgery. And we're looking to scale out our business into other cities like Atlanta and Chicago and LA and other places. St. Louis and Texas and places where people need wardrobe fixing, because the tailoring industry, it's hard to find good tailors today, as I was told, and of course being in the industry, those old school tailors, they are dying out, and this trade and this skill of alteration and tailoring is a dying trade. So my goal is to do a training program and franchise a wardrobe clinic concept, to have wardrobe clinic in other cities that we will fix and repair and do and take in orders for custom clothing if you need that. But most importantly, fix what's in your wardrobe and maintain what's in your wardrobe. So if you are interested in supporting the wardrobe or you need our service, I tell people to visit wardrobeclinic.com and tell us what you need. Or if you want to be a franchise or investor or stockholder in Wardrobe Clinic, feel free to send us an email from the website so we can communicate about the options of being a stockholder or being a franchisee in the Wardrobe Clinic concept. So, and also, we're planning to have a consulting department for those who have brand names. So if you are interested in starting your own clothing line, Brother Joshua, if you're interested in starting the Joshua Muhammad clothing line, sweatsuits or underwear or fragrance or whatever you
Yes,
want
sir.
in
Yes,
textile
sir.
fashion, we can help you. We can guide you with my team and my experience. We can guide you in developing your own clothing line, your own brand, and your own retail online retail store. So this is one of the services we scaling out, we're branching out into. So I'm thankful for my company and the vision of my team of the Wardrobe Clinic. So it's all about keeping your wardrobe intact, because we spent a lot of money and we spending, of course, you know how we are as Black people. We love dressing up no matter what kind of condition or season it is. We put on the best. We love to put on somebody else's clothes. We put on everybody else's logo. It's time to put on your own logo, your own product, or someone that's look like you, that will help create jobs in our community. We need to create jobs in our own community. And then with the brand names, you got the Master P's who got a brand name. We got to take our brand names and make product that we can sell back to our communities. You got the Two Chains, you got the Rick Ross. You have all these celebrities that we know. You got the P Diddy's, you got the Jay Z's, you got Beyonce. You got all these brand names, and think about it. Brand name sells. Our people love brand names because you can see them wearing the Versace and the Gucci and whatnot. That's brand names, and we got caught up in wearing somebody else's name. But we got to get back to respecting and honoring our own brand names. People like Jack Johnson, huh? Man, Nina Simone. I was watching Nina Simone movie the other night. Beautiful sister who was about to struggle, who loved Black people. Imagine having a Nina Simone dress line for the sisters, a Nina Simone scarf line, a fragrance line. We got to be able to take our brand names and put it into a product and sell back to our people and educate our people on this brand name. So that's what my company is scaling out to do. We fix clothes, we make clothes, but we also help build brand names. We got to take back our brand names. You got the Muhammad Ali's, you know, you got Mr. Muhammad. I think about Mr. Muhammad dress shirts, Mr. Muhammad suits, or Presidential 44 suit line. In fact, you mind if I share something with you, Brother Joshua?
No, sir. No, sir.
So I started, I'm working on a suit line now. It's actually a suit line called Presidential 44. And it's actually named after Barack Obama because we all look up to our brother. And he looked good in his suits compared to this current president. So working on a suit line called Presidential 44. It's a men's line suits. It's going to be conservative in various colors. and we're working on that for 2021. And it's going to be a great fundraising tool to sell to our brothers at a reasonable price. And the money that you spend for the suits that you will spend with us will help scale out our training program. One of my goals is to teach and train the tailoring skill back to our young people, and especially young Black men. We need to be taught this tailoring skills and know how to dress up. I saw a video other day of a brother who had his pants so low down to his ankles, walking around the street with his pants sagging to his ankles. I mean, how low are we going to go in our dress code? And I think it's one of my missions to produce a product line that we will be respectful, we will love to wear. And this suit line, Presidential 44, is something I'm working on. It's going to be a tuxedo line, a men's suit line, and shirt line and neckties. And we're going to put our young men into work where they learn how to take measurements so they can go out and take an order. They can come to your home or your office to measure you up for a custom suit or order for our ready-wear suit, and they make money and they have a skill. So that's one of the things we're looking to do. And I look forward for this year to train people and make opportunities or create opportunities, especially for jobs in our community.
Praise be to Allah. How did you get into doing custom suits for the Most Hon Min Farrakhan?
Well, I was making suits for myself, and I wasn't good with marketing, and I'm not much one who like to beg, like, let me make a suit for you, let me make a suit for you. But your father, brother Sharif, brother minister, student minister Sharif, at that time, he was the supreme captain. And I was an active FOI, and the minister was on the Stop the Killing tour. And he came to Philadelphia, and at that time, I had a booth at the old convention center. And I had a booth with my little mannequins on the booth, right? And Supreme Captain Sharif was doing a tour around the convention center, and he saw me, because at that time, prior to seeing me, I made him a uniform, and I made a couple of uniforms for the security team who had a contract for FedEx. I think they had a FedEx contract in Washington, D.C., where I made burgundy uniforms for the security team for the contract. And Brother Supreme was walking around, and he saw me in my booth. Believe it or not, I was at that convention. No one put in an order. No one, asked questions. They were just walking past my booth because, we don't think that Black men has the skill of making quality suits. We are always in doubt that we're not qualified. He can't make that. He can't be making that suit himself. He's buying that, and he having somebody else make that. So they don't believe that I was making that. So I had a booth, no orders that day. The minister was teaching, and Supreme Captain was walking by. He said, "Brother Ron, assalamu alaikum." I said, "Walaikum salam, Brother Captain." Brother Supreme. He said, "Brother Ron, sit down, and I want you to come to the hotel. I want you to meet the minister." I said, "Yes, sir." I broke down my booth, and I went to the hotel after the lecture was over, and he introduced me to the minister. And the minister was looking at my portfolio, because I had a portfolio with all my pictures of the suits I made. And the minister was looking, and he saw one of the suits in my portfolio was a mustard suit, a double-breasted peak lapel mustard suit. He said, "Yeah, brother, make me this one. This will be my first suit." And I took the minister's measurement, and approximately 4 weeks later, I shipped him the suit. And I'm at home with my wife, and I get a phone call. And he says, "Salaam alaikum." I said, wa alaikum salam. He said, do you know who I am? I said, is this the minister? Yeah, Brother Ron. Brother Ron, my suit looked beautiful. My suit, he was so happy of that suit, that first suit, which was the mustard suit. And Sister Mother Khadija Farrakhan was on the other line. So we was doing a three-way conversation. And Mother Khadija was saying, Brother Ron, this suit looks beautiful. The minister looks good in his suit. And the minister put the phone down and said, Brother Ron, I'm putting that suit on again, brother. I guess he tried it on twice that day. He said he's put it on and he was just so happy of the suit. And I felt so good that the suit came out and it fitted him. And I couldn't wait to see him in the suit. And I believe he wore the suit the following Sunday to give a message. And believe it or not, the minister wore that suit almost like a uniform because it looked so good on him. Well, the minister can look good in any suit, almost any color, because he has that complexion, he has that body shape that he looks good in the suit. And I was just so happy that the suit looked good. And after he wore that suit, I get a call days later and said, Brother Ron, my secretary going to call you. We're going to put in an order for a few more suits. And I said, yes, sir. Because at that time I was struggling. I was truly struggling because in Philadelphia, we had quite a few tailor shops. Most of them was Italian tailor shops. We had maybe one or two Black-owned tailor shops. And I was the youngest, and I'm FOI. And then I started making the suits for the minister. Call coming in. And by me making this for the minister, I'm thinking that I can get Black preachers now. You know, Black preachers should be my customers too. And, you know, Black politicians should be, because I'm dressed as a minister and the minister looks good in his suit. Everybody should be like, wow, who made the minister suit? This Black guy and this brother in Philly, he's making the minister suit. So when I started making the minister suits after that first mustard suit, and the minister started wearing my suits, no one knew it was me in Philadelphia that was making the minister suits. And so I'm thinking that, man, I can start promoting this, right? I didn't think that the envy or the hate that the people had, because I love the minister. I'm like, you can't hate this man. This is a good man. This is a good man. No reason to hate this man, right? So I went and had a meet with several preachers in Philadelphia, not to name any names. I sit with them. It was like 5 of them. They was all sitting around. They was part of the Black preachers, the leaders of the Black clergy of Philadelphia. So I'm sitting there in front of them, asking them, let me dress them and let me, promote my business with their congregation. And hopefully we can open up a factory, because I'm looking at factories. I'm still thinking factory. I'm thinking if I get the right support, we can open up a factory. I'm not thinking 1 or 2 suits here and there. I'm thinking if I can get the orders, if I can get the support, I can open up a factory. It's all about putting people to work. That's my mind. That's my thinking. So I sit with them, and they said to me after I gave my pitch about making suits, I ain't say nothing about Minister Farrakhan, right? One of the preachers says to me, aren't you brother who makes suits for Farrakhan? I said, yes, he's one of my clients. And he looked back at the other preachers, and one of the preachers says, brother, at this time, we're not interested, but, thank you for coming, right? I was shocked for them to turn me away like that, because I got quality product. I'm like, you should be happy that I can make suits like on this level. And I'm talking about factories. I'm talking about putting people to work. They wasn't looking at factories. They wasn't looking at, here's a Black boy, who has a skill, who can manufacture. We can just give him support. They was looking at the minister. They was looking at the success of the minister And I saw the envy that they had in the minister. And I like, man, I took it personal. Like, why you hating on me because you have a feeling about the minister? And ever since then, I knew that I was going to catch hell in business. Like, if black preachers don't support me because of the minister, you know the black politicians wasn't going to support. So I was blackballed by black preachers. I was blackballed by black politicians. And the poor black brothers and sisters of the poor FOI, they couldn't afford me. So, I had to take a job. I took a job working in the Philadelphia prisons. I went working for the Philadelphia prison, teaching and training of tailoring and sewing to the inmates in Philadelphia prisons. I went undercover. I didn't tell them I'm Muslim. I ain't put Muhammad on the application. And man, I worked for the Philadelphia prison for a while until the Philadelphia magazine wrote a story about me, because they were doing a story on the minister. And they wanted to know who dresses the minister, because the minister looks so sharp. Even though you don't like what he say, but you can't say the man don't know his clothes or know his duds. And the story was about the minister, but they put me in the story. And they want to say that y'all can't say nothing about Minister Farrakhan's wardrobe, but the man know how to wear his clothes, thanks to Ron Wilch of Philadelphia. And when that story came out in the Philadelphia magazine, the people on my job, which is the Philadelphia prison, I started getting hate from the correctional officers, my supervisors. Man, I caught hell from preachers, politicians, and my job. I was being beat down and alienated for dressing a minister. But I knew that this was going to be my cause. But what I looked at was the bigger picture of dressing a man who represents salvation and truth. And knowing the history of the minister of being the spokesperson, the national representative to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. What an honor is that? I take that over all of the hate, all of the blackballing, all of the alienation. So I knew people in Philadelphia, saw me as the next Ralph Lauren, the next Giorgio Armani. They said, Ryan, your suits are so sharp. You the next Giorgio Armani. You the next Versace. But you be black. I in my mind, I wasn't going that direction, because I know once they found out that I'm the tailor for the minister, all that would have been shut down. And I knew I wasn't going to be no national, international designer for everybody. And I said, well, I sacrificed that. And I reflect on the minister all the time when the messenger asked him to give up his music for the word. And I gave up the success of being an international designer to represent or to dress the minister. And I did that. And I thank Allah for allowing me to be in the position and to be born on time to meet and greet and to dress the man of God. And, I reflect all the time in the scripture, says, only if you could touch the hem of his garment. And I touch the hem of his garment quite often. And it's just an honor. And when I dress the minister, I struggled. I lost customers. I went out of business. I opened and I closed. I opened and I closed. I opened and I closed business so many times. I moved my operation approximately 11 times. I never had working capital. I never had the right amount of money to operate my business. I have always operated on faith and my skill. And I have always repackaged myself. And I have repackaged myself now as the wardrobe doctor, the wardrobe clinic in Philadelphia, which will be now scaled out to the point that now that same magazine that alienate me being a tailor for the minister, they voted me as the best tailor in the city of Philadelphia in 2017. And now I have clients I'm up to 3,400 clients in Philadelphia from that article, from them telling Philadelphia that Ron Welch, the Wardrobe Clinic, is the best tailor shop in Philadelphia. His service is fast and quality, his price is right. And if you Google best tailor in Philadelphia, you'll come up with Wardrobe Clinic, which is my company. So that's because I steadfast, I stayed on my post, not giving up, and not hiding myself as the tailor for Minister Farrakhan, like others told me to do. Ron, stop talking about the minister because that's not good for your business. Well, hell with them. It's the honor. What? What? Don't you know what such an honor it is to dress Farrakhan? That's bragging rights. And I have the bragging rights. You know, when the Million Man March, the minister made the call for the Million Man March, and he made the call, I went right to work of making a suit for him. He didn't know what he was going to wear. We didn't have a discussion of what he was going to wear for the Million Man March. I went straight on buying the material. I already visualized. I said, I will not put the minister in some bright mustard suit or some bright orange or green suit. I'm gonna put him in a conservative pinstripe, a gray chalk pinstripe, and I'm gonna make a bow tie. I had a brother make the bow tie and the hanky, a paisley, a silver paisley bow tie hanky, and I sent the suit to the minister 1 week before the Million Man March, and I didn't know did he receive it and whatnot, and was he going to wear it? But then when he came down the Capitol steps in the suit and the bow tie, I was in the audience. I wasn't even on stage. I wasn't in my uniform. I just had on a bomber jacket that says Million Man March. I had on jeans and sneakers because I took my nephews with me. My son was a little infant at that time. I took my nephews with me. We caught the bus. I just wanted to be just a regular, supporter of the Million Man March with my family. But when I saw the minister come down the Capitol steps in that suit, that made me so proud and felt good to see the minister wearing something that I put my love and heart into. And I knew that day, I said, Brother Ron, you're now going into history books. Now imagine if I would have stopped making suits for the minister because I wasn't getting no business from preachers and politicians. I would never been have that opportunity to dress the minister for the Million Man March. And many other occasions, such as the Torchlight for America and the World Day of Atonement. You know, so many events I've made this space suit. I can't even count how many suits I made for the minister, but the minister was and is my biggest customer, my biggest supporter. And without him, I wouldn't have be able to open and close, even though I didn't have enough customers, enough working capital. But just having the business of the minister gave me the seed money and the confidence to keep open my shop back up. So that's why when I saw you and I saw the interview you had with Brother Captain Curtis, I told Captain Curtis, I said, I want to just give you support, Brother Joshua, and be a witness to the minister. And I want to go on record that the Minister Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is one of the most humblest, kindest, righteous, dedicated, loving man that I have ever met. I have made up my mind when I first heard his voice to stand with him and not turn back on my heels. Even though when my daughter, when she got her record deal, Her management didn't want the world to know that E's father is a friend in the Tailor of Farrakhan. So that was a quiet situation that I had to shut my mouth and not talk too much about. But we got through that. I knew things had to happen. I knew that people didn't agree with the minister. But as long as I agree and bear witness that what he taught is good, and it helped me become a stronger man and a good husband and to be dedicated to dedicated to serving your people, your community, even though I didn't get the support I needed to get from the FOI. But I love the brotherhood. I love the FOI. And I don't, I blame them not. I just know that this is what I am and who I am. I love fashion. I love clothing. I love looking good. I remember one time we had a believers meeting in Washington, D.C. and the minister was talking to the FOI and the MGT. He said, brothers, y'all trying to keep up with the minister. The minister wears these suits. He wears these color suits. And y'all trying to keep up with the minister. Because the brothers, every time the minister wears a certain color suit, the FOI is trying to get the same color suit as the minister, right? So he said, y'all brothers trying to keep up with the minister. Y'all brothers, please. He said, I want to show y'all, let me show your brother how to dress. Where's Brother Ron? And I was sitting way in the back. I think that the meeting was at the hotel in Washington, D.C. And I wasn't prepared for all this. He said, I want y'all to see how y'all should dress. Where's Brother Ron? Brother Ron, can you come up front? Let them see you. And he called me out front. And man, the minister said, I've been a shy brother. I haven't been really trying to be out front. The minister always, he pulled me out front on that occasion. And also he pulled me out front, I think it was Springfield, Massachusetts. And it's just to be with this man in this day and time, to those who are listening, those who have never been around the minister, who never really just been in his presence. It is such a divine thing to be in his presence. The minister has an aura like no other. His presence, his conversation is such in a kind delivery. He's a good listener too. I know those y'all say, oh, the minister can talk. No, he's a good listener. And he's a very funny man too. He had the minister just a beautiful human being. And I've been around the minister many occasions, from having dinner with him. I remember the first time he invited me to Chicago right before Savior's Day, Torchlight for America. That was in Atlanta, Georgia. So I came into Chicago and I meet the minister at the palace. It's just me and the minister in the palace. And he greeted me such in a kind way. And I was just in awe with the man. And we sat and talked. And he said, Brother Ron, what should I wear for Savior's Day? I said, well, Brother Minister, what is the subject? What is the title? And he says, Torchlight for America. And I said, white suit. I just automatically said, white suit. He said, yeah, Brother Ron. Yeah, let's do a white suit. And I made that white suit for the minister. And I delivered that suit with my new wife at the time, Sister Julie. We went to Atlanta to deliver the suit. And we come in a day before, the day before Savior's Day, the minister had the dinner with the believers and friends. So I come in the room with my new wife, and the minister was in the room with approximately about 30 people. Sister Mother Khadijah was at the table, and Mother Tanetta Muhammad, and a few people. And so I come in the room, I try to sneak in the room with my wife. We sneak in the room, and all of a sudden I hear, is that Brother Ron? Is that my Tailor? And I said, yes, sir, brother minister. He said, brother Ron, you have my suit? I said, yes, sir. Hey, let me see that suit. Let me put that suit on. So I put the suit on the minister in front of everybody. Everybody, oh, wow. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing, man. You know, it's just a beautiful honor, a beautiful honor to dress a man of God, especially in this day and time that we need a beautiful leadership. And Farrakhan, Farrakhan, the minister, is such a beautiful leader for us. He's such a perfect vessel for us to listen. And I tell people all the time, I almost got in a fight at a restaurant when someone talked bad about the minister. I had to hold myself. I said, brother, what are you talking about? I said, brother, I know you're going to have people hating on the minister. You just got to convince them that the minister is good. If they hating or they don't understand, it's because you, Brother Ron, or you, FOI, have not proven enough that the minister is good. That means you're not proving yourself. As we are taught in the FOI, we are constantly training to condition ourselves. And what our purpose is what? To deliver, to help deliver the 30 to 40 to 60 million black people to the Lamb of God. Is that right? So therefore, have you helped deliver? You got people hating and don't understand the minister because you have not helped to deliver. You have not helped proven what you say is good for black people. So don't get angry, Brother Ryan, when people don't understand or they hating or they say something bad against the minister or something bad against the teachings. That means you or we have not proven our case. We have not proven that what we hear and believe is good for black people. So I learned through that, and I learned by listening to the minister carefully, especially when he gave us that study guide 19, Who is God? And I have a special autograph study guide from the minister. Now that's a blessing. I received at that day, in fact, 1997, day after Savior's Day, I'm at the dinner table with the minister, along with officials and old soldiers. I was the youngest at the table, And I'm sitting next to Sister Kim, and the minister at the head of the table. And study guide 19, he gave us all the study guide 19. And I think he gave us the name Muhammad, gave the whole nation Muhammad. Everybody was named Muhammad. So I'm on cloud 9, and I asked the minister to sign that study guide. And that study guide to me, I read it, and I read it, and I read it. I reflect on it, I ponder upon it, and I pray on it. Because in that book, Who is God, is a lot of answers and a lot of questions that help you think and to understand who is God and who is the devil. And I tell people, man, you know, you listen to preachers and you listen to the minister. Clean glass next to a dirty glass. Take away the title, just listen to the word, the truth. And I'd say it all the time. But I have to bear witness that the minister is a good man, a spiritual man, a perfect deliverer of the word, and make it clear to us the truth that Muhammad teaches, Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of God, teaches us, and how it's good for us today. And I tell people all the time, the message to the black man is really gave me my strength to be an entrepreneur. The message to the black man gave me my strength to be an entrepreneur. Because in that book, it tells you, do something for yourself before you're forced to do it. And now here we are. 90% of Black America is forced to do something for ourselves today. And if you are forced to do something, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So back in the 80s and the 70s and the 80s, when I first came in and first got that book, Message to the Black Man, I've been trying to do for self ever since. And I thank God that it kept me going, even though I open and I close, I open and I close. I face obstacles. I face hatred and anger for dressing the minister, but I kept going. I kept doing. I kept trying to be an entrepreneur. I'm not a college graduate. I barely graduated out of high school. But I thank God for allowing me to read the message to the black man, to do for self. And now I am not forced to do it. I love doing what I'm doing. And I hope and pray that I'll be a helper to those who want to do for self. And those celebrities, friends of ours in the nation, from 2 Chainz to you name it, Meek Mills, that if people that love the minister, we should have factories, we should have ownership of our brand names and produce product from underwear to suits to shirts to socks. Everything we need to dress ourselves should be made by ourselves to create jobs in our own community. We got to be self-sufficient. The history of the Indians receiving the blankets with the smallpox is not a
Absolutely.
mistake.
Praise be to Allah. And you get a lot of comment.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Go ahead, Brother Brown.
Yeah, so that we cannot be so tricked to take clothing from others in other countries thinking that is quality. They could put things in, right now, they could put chemicals and dust chemicals and textiles with all kinds of bacteria or antibacterial. So we got to be careful. This is the time that we got to dress ourselves. Why did Master Farad Muhammad went door to door selling textiles to our people and Black Bottom Detroit? And my answer is because he knew that we love to dress the best. He knew that we are the best constructor of garments. Our sisters and our brothers are the original tailors. We the original sewers of garments. And textiles and manufacturing is the quickest industry to get up and running overnight. It's quicker than farming, it's quicker than real estate. You can open up a factory if you have the space. You can open up a factory within 4 to 6 months. And you could train your staff within 6 to 8 weeks to manufacture your product. All it takes is resource and support. So if we got talent, we got the celebrities, we got the brand names, and we got working capital. Let's buy a factory, a half a mile by half a mile. Let's take a territory and make it an industrial city where we train 60 to 80,000 people or 8 to 10,000 people to manufacture sock factory over here, underwear factory over here, sheet and pillowcase factory over here, suit factory over here, dress factory over here, top coat factory over here. And then copy this or franchise this same concept in Africa. Imagine that, having a little town where we have 10 or 20 factories in the town in Liberia and Ghana and Guinea, huh? We have factories throughout Africa that has a training in a town where we train our people, and the product that they make is for the city and the community and the nation itself. We got to begin to do that. And we got to begin to export and ship our own product across the waters. Imagine we making and designing our brand names to Africa, because you know our brothers and sisters in Africa love wearing what we wear. Whatever we wear in America, they buy it. They buy the hand-me-downs. They buy used clothing, as long as it has Versace on it, or Gucci on it, Adidas on it, or Rockaware, or Sean John. They wearing it after we done wore it. Imagine we take our brand names and start manufacturing product within our own cities in urban America and dressing ourselves, right? Training our people up and train our people up in Africa and begin to ship product back and forth and take our brothers and sisters who are in the prisons, start a training program in the prison. So while they're in prison, they're learning how to fix machines and mass produce and do pattern making, cutting, and how to manage factories right? In the prison. So when they come out, they can go either in Africa or work in our own community to begin the manufacturing jobs. So that's my vision. Think that's my mission. I believe I was born for this and doing what I do. I was meant to be a friend of Farrakhan and to be the tailor of the minister. And I'm thankful to Allah for my post. And I am not going to turn back on my heels, and I'm not going to be unfaithful to my mission. But this is what I do, and we got to pull our resources. We are forced to do it now. We are forced to dress ourselves. To pull FOI, you have to start dressing up in your own clothing. You know, you're going to make Mr. Muhammad suits, Mr. Muhammad shirts. You got to do it. I remember when I used to teach and train blind people. I used to teach and train in the prisons, but then I had a job when I closed the shop down back in the 1990. I had no, 2009. I had to close my operation down. I had to take a job over in Jersey, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, for this company called Best Work Industry for the Blind. I was teaching blind people how to sew because I was being groomed to teach and train anybody how to sew. That means I can teach you overnight. I could teach anyone how to sew. Why? Because this is the time that we have to start cutting and sewing and making product for ourselves overnight. So I don't want to talk too much more, but it's just an honor just to be on your show. I had a lot to say. I've been waiting to tell somebody this story, and you was the first to receive this story. I never told no one this. I've been holding this in for years, and now I just want to just let it go and tell you my passion, my love, and the honor of being the tailor for the minister. And the minister looks good, don't he? Don't he look good in the suits?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank Allah. Praise be to Allah. Yes, Brother John. Any other questions, bro?
Praise be to
How long?
Allah.
We've been going on for almost an hour.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Brother Kareem Ali says, "I praise be to Allah." Brother Elijah Mo says, "Praise be to Allah." Yes, sir. My sister Naima says, "Beautiful. All praise be to Allah." So many people showing you love. Speaking of independent, doing for self and independence, quick 60-second commercial break because I want to make sure that I thank all of the sponsors of this month's episode. We are in a new season, so I want to thank all of the sponsors. If you would like to make a donation, please Cash App the People's Podcast. Thank you very much. Starting with my brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and drone. He works on television and film editing. Thank you very much, Rashad. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are on Amazon. Make sure we go get that. Thank you very much. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. I'm coming right back to you, Brother Ron. Thank everybody. Supreme Men's Boys Urban Wear out of St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you very much. If you want to be dressed in the best of fashion and keep you dripping, speaking of fashion, our brother in St. Louis. MTS Car Bros, all the way in Los Angeles. They can ship you any make, model, in any year. Please reach out to them. Thank you very much for your sponsorship as well. Raising Black Millionaires, Sister Tia Muhammad. She teaches economic empowerment and development through flashcards to young Black children all across the country. Brother Kenneth Muhammad, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties all across the country. Thank you very much, Brother Kenneth.
Yeah.
Brother Todd X. McGraw, Supreme Team Insurance Group. If you need some insurance, make sure you reach out to him. Brother Elijah Moses, yes, sir. So I love. It's good to see you, Elijah, bro. The Mecca Project that is in Detroit, Michigan. They are buying and refurbishing the houses that in the lower income and fixing them up. Thank you very much for the Mecca Project. Brother Chantel X, the X and the Express. I want to thank him. He hires truck drivers weekly, and he specializes in refrigeration. Thank you very much, Brother Chantel. The Real Hip Hop Network, they are specialized. They have their own platform where they're playing music, sports, teachings, whatever you need, Real Hip Hop Network. Make sure you download the app and let's get it running and supporting them. Brother Jabbar Muhammad, Client First Construction, painting, carpentry, flooring, plumbing, etc. In the Chicago area and the Memphis, Tennessee area. I'm coming right back to you. Brother Ron, mastering of the 7 units, a sister's pathway to do for self. Sister Landrea Muhammad, stop talking the teachings, start living the teachings. This is her new book. It's coming out. Let's make sure we support our sister. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services in Chicago area. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book on Amazon, and No Father, No Excuse, which is on Amazon as well. I thank all of the sponsors of this month's podcast, and I want to make sure that I thank. Oh, here I come right back to you. I thank our guest for his. Let me stop the share. Boom. Thank you, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the People's Podcast. All right, boom. Be right back with you. Yes, sir. Okay,
Wow,
Brother Ron.
Yes, sir. Wow, bro. Listen, you got a lot of sponsors, man.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank all those sponsors who support you because we need to keep you supported, brother. We got to uphold you, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. It is the people who uphold the People's Podcast. What do you do for fun, sir?
What I do for fun? What I do for fun is be with my wife.
Yes, sir.
And at this day and time, the only thing you could do is, read a good book, exercise, and be with your loved one. I love the song by Ozzy Brothers. If you can't be with the one you love the one you with. So you just love the one you with. And I just thank Allah for my wife. And that's my fun, man. Just bonding with my wife, who's been with me now. We've been married for 27 years. And I thank Allah for her. And my son, who, Farad, brother, my son name is Farad Waleed Wilch Muhammad. He's still with me. And my daughter, who lives in London, who will be coming home soon to visit. But just being with your family, reading a good book. I picked the book up again, The Theology of Time, and started reading that again, and which is to me one of the best books to read. But yeah, brother. Oh, by the way, I have a book coming out too. It's called Tailor Made Just for You. It's about my life. It's about the celebrities that I have dressed, and definitely about dressing the minister. But also gives you great tips on dressing and how to manage your wardrobe, how to understand fabrics between silk, wool, cotton, linen. People don't know their fabrics. It teaches you how to tie a tie from a half Windsor to 4 Windsor. It gives you the meaning of a bow tie. Why we wear bow ties is FOI. What do bow tie means? Bow ties is the best tie to wear. It represents a professor. You are the best dressed, a tuxedo. A bow tie is like a tuxedo. It's the best of dress in this Western world, the dress code in this Western world. So a bow tie is the supreme tie amongst ties. And it teaches you all kinds of things, how to shine your shoes, how to keep moths, keep dust mites out of your clothes. And by the way, I do have my special wardrobe bags. It comes in black and white. These wardrobe bags is our special cedarwood oil bags that you put in your closet to keep moths out of your closet and dust mites out of your closet. And you have hangers and things and wardrobe hangers that you can buy. So you visit wardrobeclinic.com to learn about our wardrobe maintenance items. But again, I do have a book coming out called Tailor Made Just for You. It talks about my life, my family, and the celebrities and whatnot, and pictures, some great pictures and great tips. And yes, I do have white clientele. One of my biggest celebrity white clientele that will be in the book, Katy Perry. Katy Perry is one of my clients, and a few other clients that I don't want to mention at this time. but I have a balance of at this time. Out of the 3,000, believe it or not, Brother Joshua, out of the 3,400 clients I have on database since this wardrobe clinic I had started, uh, 90% is Caucasian. 90% of my clients is Center City, Caucasian. They love what I do. They praise me. If you follow me on Yelp, if you go to my Yelp page, Wardrobe Clinic on Yelp, Philadelphia, you'll see all the reviews. If you go to the Google account and type in Wardrobe Clinic Philadelphia, you see all the reviews. So I'm like a 5-star review. I thank my customers, and they know that, Ron Welch, the wardrobe doctor, is not a racist. So, hey, I can love the minister and they love me. I'm the proof that the minister is not racist. He's not a hate teacher. Because if you love me and I love him, it can't be. A person that loves me, you don't love a hater. You love a man who loves to serve and love to do a job that you appreciate or you love that you need. So, brother, I'm just honored to be on this show. I had a lot to talk about. I still got a lot more to talk about. Maybe do a part 2 of this conversation. But if you have any more questions, I got time for you today. This Saturday, I had put away the time for you and this interview. Yeah, I'm hanging out with you and the friends of Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
So.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. We thank you for hanging out with us, and we thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. Speaking of music, earlier you spoke of the Isley Brothers. What type of music do you listen to?
Oh, brother, I love Frankie Beverly and Mays. Frankie Beverly, Philly sound. I love Philly sound. I love Frankie Beverly and Mays. I love Maxwell. I like Kendrick's The Family Soul, Music Soul Child. I like Jill Scott. All Philly sound. And a lot of Marvin Gaye. I've been listening to a lot of Marvin Gaye music as well. But Gregory Porter. I've been getting into some Gregory Porter music, which is a smooth.
Okay.
And again, like last night, I was watching the documentary of Nina Simone, and I was loving her music. I never really got to listen to a lot of her music, but last night watching her story, listen to her story, I'm going to really get into some Nina Simone music. And also Quincy Jones. I was watching a documentary of Quincy Jones and his music. But Frankie Beverly is one of my best
Yes,
group that I like to listen to. It's a smooth, unifying music. Yeah. What kind of music you like, brother?
Yes, sir. I like all kind of music. And speaking of the Philly sound, I'm a fan of Philly R&B, Philly rap. So I'm a fan of Philly's music, but all kind of music. I got Music Soul Child behind me. I got Queen and Beyonce, Eminem, Kanye. I'm a big Kanye West fan, but I like all music. But I'm especially speaking of Philly movement. I was a big fan of the Rough Riders, so this was an honor as well because I like DMX, Eve. I like the whole Swiss Beats. I like all of them. So to be talking to you, this is a great deal because the Rough Riders was a big part of my coming up.
Well, of course, I love my daughter music. I love whatever she do. I support her. But in 5 more days, I'll be turning 60 years old. So I'm not much of a rap artist. Listen to rap, but I listen to my daughter. And in Public Enemy, I used to listen to a lot of Public Enemy, Chuck D. But of course, I love my daughter music. Okay. But I'm a smooth R&B, Frankie Beverly, you know what I mean? Right in that area. I like that kind of, relax, put on a suit and tie type of music, Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, but what advice would you give to future fathers?
Future fathers?
Yes, sir.
Repeat.
What advice would you give to future fathers?
Advice I give future fathers, man, be patient, man, and learn how to be a father, because Eve, being my first responsibility as a father, being a stepfather, she was the first before my son came. So I didn't know how to be a father. My father uh, came and gone. He wasn't around much. So I was really raised, the only male figure I had growing up was my grandfather. My grandfather, Jackie Laser, was my example, and he was my grandfather. I mean, but I didn't know how to be a father. But Eve, my stepdaughter, taught me. She broke me in. She showed me in a way to be patient, even though being a FOI, I was a student minister under Rodney. I was kind of strict with her, and she was hanging out, even though she was going to school. She was a high school student, but she was hanging out to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but had to go to school. I was strict with her. And I wasn't relaxed. I wasn't, but I learned, and I didn't know that she was really doing her rap music. She was hanging out because she was into the music. She was hanging out at nightclubs and rapping, right? She was in this competition with rappers. I didn't know. I wasn't communicating. So my advice to fathers, man, communicate. Learn how to question in a nice way, not in a dictatorial or harsh way. Learn how to sit down and find that time to ask the question when you're driving down the highway and just ask the question. So how's going on? What's going on? I noticed you've been out late. I don't want to get angry with you, but what you doing? Find out how to ask the questions, how to get in your children's head, because being a father, being a mother, even though you may have one or two children, each child is different. And that means you got to learn new from each person, each child. So be patient, ask the question. Don't be quick to pull out the belt. Nowadays, you don't pull out belts on kids, right? You don't pull out belts on your babies, because they're get you locked up, or they end up beating you. You pull out a belt, they pull out a bat.
Sir.
You know what I mean? You gotta be careful, but be patient and talk to other parents, talk to other fathers. I think that's one of my biggest problems, that we don't communicate enough, and since we don't communicate enough, we don't comprehend enough. You got to communicate to comprehend. You got to ask the question to get the answer. And once you get the answer, the question is, do you comprehend? Yeah.
Okay, excellent, sir. And what advice would you give to future husbands?
Oh, future husbands, settle down to a good choice. Do not be quick to choose a wife, and a wife, don't be quick to choose a husband. Raise the right questions and watch and study whether this person qualified. You got to qualify for marriage nowadays. Just having a good look and a nice car is not enough, because you can lose your job, and when you lose your job, that nice car go away, and most likely that nice look go away too, because only money and success keeps a happy smile on your face, and a happy smile on your face keep you young looking. People say, Ron, you really 59 years old? I said, yeah, but you don't look it. I said, because I'm happy. I like laughing. I love telling a joke. I laugh hard till I cry, and I'm happy. I don't have arguments. My wife and I don't get into this rough argue, throwing pots and pans. See, I don't do that. Farrakhan, the minister, is my example, and he don't. I know. I have been around Mother Khadijah enough, and she talked with me, and I talked with her. She and I supposed to have been partners. We supposed to have been doing a deal together, where I supposed to came to Chicago to help her with the MGT uniforms and making the uniforms, and which it didn't come through, but me and her communicated enough to the point that I know she's a happy woman. She don't have that anger for her husband, and I could tell she's just honored and pleased with her husband. And you could tell that the minister is a good husband, because his face, his demeanor, and his wife and the children looks happy, even though they have all, like all other families, we have struggles, but I could tell they are happy together, the vibe. And being around a minister and being around Mother Khadijah, I want to do that. I want that for myself. And that's why I give my wife a good hug and a good kiss every time I see her. I have a rule of thumb. I kiss my wife 10 times a day and touch her 20. So, but it's all about the vibe, the communication, you know. I remember the minister gave Mother Khadijah a bouquet of flowers on stage. So when I used to do my fashion shows, me and my wife used to do fashion shows, big fashion shows for the city. You know, 2,000, 3,000 people come out to our fashion show. This is back in the early 80s for the Del East, which is fashion montage. So we used to do these fashion shows. And my wife was my show producer, and I'm the designer. We had other designers. Before the show started, I had always given my wife a bouquet of flowers. I have always called my wife out front to the stage and tell the world, tell the audience that this is my wife. I want to thank my wife for believing and being with me. And I give her a big bouquet of flowers, right? Even though she don't want it, she don't want to be seen. But the minister did it. And since the minister does that, I want to do what the minister do. And believe it or not, that make me feel good, but also let women see how a man should treat a woman. And my wife would not give me up, and I would not give her up because we treat each other. We are not ungrateful for our relationship and our marriage, which is a beautiful thing. Yes, sir, brother. Man, this is a good conversation. I haven't talked like this. I haven't talked like this in a long time, brother. I want to thank you for allowing me to grace.
Yes, sir. The honor is mine, sir. And so many people showing you love in the comments, and thank you all. Okay, yes, sir. My next question for you is when you get your book done, can I get the exclusive? Can you come back and premiere so we can promote your book for you?
Yeah. In fact, what I should do, we should talk about pre-orders. If you want a copy of my book, you should send me an email asking that you want a copy of the book. Hold on one second. I'm always talking, everything about ready to go out on. Hold on. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you still see me. You still see me. Okay, good. So, what you could do, first request a copy of a book just by going to wardrobeclinic.com or sending me an email to Philly Wardrobe Clinic at Gmail, and just send me requests around. I'm interested in a copy of your book, and I'll send you a copy of the color and the confirmation. I like pre-orders, you know. I only want to produce enough books according to the order. I don't want to stockpile books and hoping that somebody buy. So we got the cover finished. So we got the cover, and the book will be completed in the next 2 months, inshallah. The book will be completed in the next 2 months. It's going to be a coffee table book. It's going to be a beautiful color, talk about fashion, talk about style for male and female, and grooming tips. A lot of men, a lot of brothers don't know you should clean your fingernails. Them fingernails, a lot of bacteria is on your fingernails. So make sure your fingernails is clean and your fingernails is cut short. No man should have long fingernails unless you're a pimp. If you're a pimp, you should. We don't have pimps in the nation. Make sure that your fingernails is cut short and your toenails is cut short. And know what, brothers? We just gotta learn how to groom properly, because our sister need more respect than just you hugging and grabbing her and you're not properly clean. So in my book, it'll talk about grooming tips and wardrobe management, all that good stuff. And it talks about my history. And it's going to give you some sewing tips too. How to sew on a button, how to fix small little problems in your wardrobe. So pre-orders is good. Visit wardrobeclinic.com. Google Wardrobe Clinic, or just, look up Best Tailor in Philadelphia. You should find me. But yeah, so settle down to a good choice. Pick a good wife, and and good husband. You may say, well, brother, how you pick a good wife? It's called communication. You gotta feel the vibe, man. And my wife, I felt her vibe. You know, I asked her questions, we dated, you know, and I felt her vibe, man. She wasn't argumentative. I don't like an argument. You know, I don't like to be in the argument. You know, I like to take the lead. But you know, some men want the woman to take the lead, but that's not you off your post. You got to take the lead. You got to be protector, provider. You know, you got to do a lot of things. So in this day and time, the Black man got a big job. We got to step up and be independent, make money, be creative, and to provide. And it's tough. But that's where we pull our resources and not be so divided. Because Brother Ron, I'm an inclusive guy. I love to give. I like to give out good advice, but inclusive. But I believe we got to help each other, man. I want to help young people. I have a program that I had started years ago. It's called Boys to Bosses. Boys to Bosses is a mentoring program for young men from 12 to 19 years of age. And it's not a nonprofit. It's just a program that I've been doing out of my own pocket. And it was a summer program where we teach young men grooming, marketing, public speaking, and how to treat a woman, fine dining. You know what I mean? A little martial art. We teach them a little drilling. It's like a little FOI class. But it's called Boys to Bosses. And the whole goal is to teach them how to be entrepreneurs, how to make some money for themselves. You know, and so I've been doing that for a while, and hopefully after this pandemic is over, God willing, I'm gonna start it back up and then put my training in other cities. And by the way, I will be on tour after this pandemic. I want to come to Atlanta and give a class with Boys to Bosses. I want to give a class in Charlotte and St. Louis and Chicago and LA and other places. So I'm at the age now. I'll be 60 years old, brother, in a few more days. So my whole thing is teaching and training now. I don't want to be making all the suits myself. I need to train people to make suits and to make clothes for our people. I need to train up the next generation of tailors. So Boys to Bosses is going to be part of that program of teaching and training young people to be tailors and garment constructor people. You can make money with Intel. You can make socks and neckties and sell it. If you know how to make a scarf, you can sell scarves. If you know how to make it, if you know how to make socks, you can make socks and sell it. You know how to make shirts. So Boys to Bosses, we would teach them the basic tailoring skills and how to make a product and go out and sell it and make some money for themselves. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you all for the comments and people showing love. And please like, share, and subscribe once we put it on YouTube this evening. One last question for you, sir. What do you want your legacy to be?
The man who dressed Farrakhan. No. That's my legacy. That's all I want to listen. Don't listen. Listen. My legacy is basically that Brother Ron was a good example of how to dress, how to serve, and how to be a brother to a brother and a friend of Farrakhan. That's my legacy. That will be my legacy, inshallah. And hopefully the Boys to Bosses program will be a legacy as well. You know, it's up to the future people. I don't know what it's going to be. Allah knows, but the future generation, when they read about and they Google certain things, hopefully my name will come up doing something of good and serving our people and bearing witness that Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of God and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is that Christ today. Because after Moses came Jesus, and Elijah Muhammad is that Moses that came to give us some of that lost supreme wisdom. And after he gave us some of that lost supreme wisdom, Jesus came behind Moses and said to the people, I come to teach you what Moses has taught you. And Jesus today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He come and teach us what Muhammad has taught us, what Moses has taught us. that we forgot about. So Farrakhan today is that Christ in our midst facing an enemy. And the enemies is trying to surround us on all sides. But Allah is God who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. He is the savior, not just of us as Black people, he is the savior of the planet Earth. And I thank Allah for being the God on post, the God of power, the God of love, the God of justice, the best knower. He knows what's going to come 25,000 years in advance. And I thank Allah for being a God of justice. And I fear not, nor do I grieve. I bear witness that there's no God but Allah. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger, the Moses, and Farrakhan Muhammad is that Christ in our midst. I bear witness and put that on a record. Salam alaikum.
Yes, sir. Alaikum salam. Praise be to Allah, sir. Thank you all for watching, and thank you again, sir. This has been very inspirational, and I'm very humbled. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.